Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 20 of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Raised by the Hyuga clan and enjoy that guys. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, the news spread around the elemental nations about his death. As Akeno was chasing after Nagato, he was heading towards Konoha with a fury burning in his eyes. But his horse ended up crashing after hitting a stump. As she went over to him and she held on to him, the peaceful, loving Nagato was raging and even threatening to kill her if she didn't let him go. But she didn't, as she held him tight, not releasing him. After getting him to calm down, she gave him the scroll that she got from Zetsu. It was from Naruto. As he was pissed off, his friend knew that he would die, but he elected him to be the 5th Uzumaki. As they headed back, as Hanzo proudly stated that he would put his trust into Nagato, he was just like Naruto, the young wolf. As Akeno could only watch with tears in her eyes as he was called the 5th Uzumaki. Meanwhile, Konan, she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that he was dead. She had to see his body. She had to see it to her own eyes or she would never believe it. But there was only one way to end this, fast. They didn't want to kill the civilians, the innocent people, a child. But hearing about Naruto's demise, it broke her. So she did a heinous act. As Konan flew up and rained down papers, as the thing showered over the entire city, as they exploded in green flames, the hellfire that Naruto gave them, as the hellfire torched the entire place, slaughtering civilians and slaughtering children. It took some time, but she finally arrived on a paper bird. As she burst inside, she was stopped by some of the Akatsuki members, but after giving them the scroll with Naruto insignia on it, they let her through. As she saw Arima and Tsunade there, she was surprised to see Tsunade. As she stepped in the room to see Naruto lying on the bed, he was fully conscious and very pale, looking like he was sick. He was in a bad condition. Even though he was healing, it was bad what he went through. He started to talk about his failures and that he was done. She smacked him across the face and smacked him again as she gave him encouraging words. As Arima and Tsunade watched as this girl did what they couldn't do in the time that Naruto's been here, give him back hope. As Tsunade and Konan and Arima talked, as Konan told him that he need to get back towards Uzu. As the smaller nations were being destroyed, the Hidden Stone and Konoha joined allies and they were reaping havoc through the nations. And they were also going towards the Hidden Rain, seeing that Danzo knew that some of the survivors are still there and they were going to go to Uzu as well. As Arima went off to talk to Naruto about this, as Tsunade and Konan talked, Tsunade was willing to take up the mantle of being the Fire Daimyo so that there could be peace after they got rid of them, because everyone in Konoha didn't deserve to die. As people would accept her because she was a Senju, an heir to Hoshirama and Tobirama. Meanwhile, Obito arrived to the cell where he saw the woman that has been a mother to him. As he saw Kushina in chains, she was on her bed there, beaten and broken. As he saw the look in her eyes, she snapped out of it after seeing Obito. As she cried, as he just held on to her. He wanted to know what happened. She allowed him to use his Sharingan as he went into her mind as he saw everything. After a few moments, he snapped out of it, tears streaming down his face. As Kushina saw his eyes, they have changed as he ran out of the room. Later that night, as Kona was watching her to sleep, she sat down in the bed as she started to cry a bit, remembering all the heinous things that she did today, just to ensure that Naruto was safe. So many innocent people that she killed. Seeing her crying, hearing it, Naruto snapped out of his sleeping as he went over and pulled her into a tight hug, as she just cried into his chest. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? We begin this episode with Katsumoto. He was the Kazekage. What is your name, he said, because in front of him was none other, Nagato Uzumaki, the 5th Uzukage, commander of the Akatsuki forces and leader of the Great Union. Katsumoto had some more respect for the boy, hearing how many burned that he shouldered. That is a lot of title, he said with a smile. He expected the boy to smile at this little joke, but he did no such thing. He had a look in his eyes that Katsumoto was familiar with. The news about Naruto being dead, he thought that all of their terms will just wither away. Konoha and the Stone were joint allies now, and they were intending to crush the other nations. But seeing this boy in front of him with the 2,000 soldiers, there just might be a small glimmer of hope that he could stand up against Konoha and the Hidden Stone. If it was not just a small glimmer of hope. Beside him was his loyal people, as he had Rasa beside him, a truly fine jonin, who was supposed to be the next Kazekage if he should ever fall. Rasa had a special ability to control golden sand. As they began talks, by the end of it, Katsumoto agreed, as they decided to follow Nagato's will, as he was the commander of the Union right now. Some time passed, as Akino walked through the castle hallway. She was looking for her friend. In the past week, things have not been kind on Nagato, as they had managed to gather all the smaller village allies and not run into any Stone or Konoha shinobi. But Nagato has changed. He promised genocide and death to all leaders who do not follow or join the Union. Yes, he has changed a lot. He was so cold, so angry, so restless, and hungry for blood. He even threatened Katsumoto at the sand, telling him if it's not them, then Konoha and the Stone will rape their women and burn their grounds and kill all of them. As Katsumoto had came to agreement in the end to follow him, he told her pain and suffering shall unite them all. She never forgot the look in his eyes when he said those words, as she missed his smile a lot. As she stopped, Naruto, she didn't even know where his body was, for them to give him a proper burial. She then felt a hand placed on her shoulder, as she turned and she saw Nagato, looking as miserable as she thought he would look now. I missed him, she said. Me too, he whispered, as he wiped away her tears. I keep hoping that this was a bad dream, that soon I would wake up in Uzu, and everything would be back to normal. I just want to go home, she said. Do you? He asked. After I help you win this war, she said. She then reached up her hand and touched his cheek. You need to shave, she said. Huh? He said. You're becoming a hairy ape, Nagato, she said. His jaw dropped at her remark, as she laughed, seeing the comical look on his face, as his hair was extended going down to his shoulders, and also his rough beard. She smiled as she saw the look on his face. It was her gentle Nagato. Come on, I'll help you, she said. You? He said in horror. Is there a problem? She asked. No, he said. Good, she said. As both of them walked towards one of the rooms, as he sat down and she finds scissors and a comb, as she started to give him a proper haircut. What's on your mind? She said. Naruto was the best among us, he said. On the battlefield, he was a great leader and sharp, yet he still lost. How can I do any better? I was a soldier. I always followed Naruto's lead, and now he's gone. She then spoke. Imagine what Naruto must have felt when he was handed everything once Uzu fell. He was just as scared, angry, and helpless as you are now. But he pushed through all of that because he believed in his duties, and he believed in us, and we were there to back him and help him. And it gave him the strength to lead. What gives you the strength? She asked. He clenched his fist. To fulfill Naruto's dream is my goal. I am willing to pay any price, any conviction to make sure it happens. As she smiled at that. You've done well so far, Nagato. You united all the smaller villages by your side. You surrounded him with your soldiers and gave him a choice. And now the sand is ours. Naruto would be proud. You prove yourself worthy of being his heir, said Akino proudly. And as much as it hurt me to say he's gone, and his dream is the only thing we have left. And no matter what, I will help you, with all my power, she said, because we will fulfill his dream. And if I am to die, it shall be by your side, she said. As she finished cutting his hair, look good. What would you expect, she asked, as he shook his head, as they walked over towards the window. As he placed his hand outside, winter is here. Those Konoha bastards will find it difficult to fight in this weather, after what they've been used to. It's a good thing those Zetsu soldiers don't need any food or water, and the weather doesn't affect them that much. It's a good thing that you directed the 10,000 strong sand forces to attack the Hidden Stone and aid Hanzo. If it was much later, it would have been bad. The sand ninjas are used to heat and not the snow. Come, he says. He held onto her hand. We have much to plan. As they went off. Time skip. Mifune frowned as he saw the plan. Suggested by Nagato, it was dishonorable. As Nagato frowned, Mifune was a force on the battlefield. But these were shinobis you were fighting against. This was not any time for any honor. There is no place left for honor in this war. It died the moment they murdered Naruto, said Nagato. He's right, Mifudano. We cannot risk openly fighting against Konoha so early in the war, said Ayam Kirishima. She had short, dark hair and fair skin. She smiled at Nagato as he blushed a bit, as he had to remember this woman was the leader of Take, even though she was only 18. Akeno raised an eyebrow and she noticed, but she didn't say anything about it. I agree with the plan proposed by Lord Fifth. But if the samurais don't find it honorable, I would lead it then, said Raza. He was one of the commanders left behind by the Kazekage. You could die. Why so eager for that? Asked Nagato. I don't like you, said Raza, but I respect Kasumodo and my people. I would do anything to protect them, and they will benefit from this union that you have formed. I am loyal to the Sun. I have led many missions. I will do this for the future of my people, Raza said. Nagato did not know why, but he felt some treachery in this man. The San were the most treacherous ninjas in the world. But maybe they weren't lying. He shook it off for now. He would just have to keep an eye on him. And Raza was a good leader after all, and he had less capable leaders to command the army. You will lead, Raza, but not the force that you want. The one who will lead the strike team is Chiyo-sama and Pakura as her second in command, said Nagato. Both the ladies blinked at the decision until Chiyo laughed. Smart boy, but what would an old lady like me be of use in leading that entire force? You are a puppet master. I would like you to make our enemies dance, he said. Cho-sama shall command the attack and Pakura shall lead the charge. Is there any questions? Asked Nagato. As Nagato then looked over, Raza, be patient. You will get justice against Konoha ninjas who kill their people. Follow the plan and I shall have you lead the second attack after Cho-sama. You can kill anyone you want, any way you want, I won't care. Just get me some prisoners to gather intelligence and execute them when I am done. A smile came on Raza's face, as he wished so dearly to make them pay after what they did to the Sand Ninjas. Very well, Lord Fifth. I will follow your plan, said Raza, as Lady Chiyo saw how Nagato was just working with words, getting everyone to agree with everything that he said. As she realized the young wolf wasn't so young after all, he had a cunning mind, and he knew how to talk. A week later, Naruto was reading a letter, as Lord Arima sent to him that Konoha used their envoys to try and crush Uzu, but with the 2,000 strong Akatsuki and 1,000 Uzu warriors, they were able to completely annihilate all of them. So when the 100 envoys attacked their village, with the wrath and anger that Uzumaki had right now for what? The betrayal they did over again, they were completely decimated. Every Konoha envoy were put to death. But Naruto forces also lost 100 to 200 ninjas in that middle range, but they were fighting against envoys. But at least they murdered every single one of them. And Naruto was smiling because Daibatsu and Yaiko has won victory over the Land of Lightning that is completely under their control. The daimyo and his family had fallen, with the entire family being put to death. It was a bloody slaughter, and the Akatsuki lost half of their forces. But when Yaiko, who was still enraged upon hearing about Naruto's death, he went in and slaughtered every one of the royal princes. As Daibatsu came in and captured the cowardly daimyo who was hiding, as the man surrendered, and the Akatsuki slaughtered the rest of the forces, and then the rest of the family was put to death along the daimyo, giving them full control over the Land of Lightning. And Naruto also knew that Nagato had united all of the small nations to come together, even the sand. Hanzo was also leading the battle against Stone, and the sand villagers joined him. And Nagato marched towards Konoha with 20,000 fighters by his side, and Akainu as well. In the past 3 weeks, the world has believed that he was dead, and his friends had rised up and stood up for him, believing in his dreams and continue on. They had fought for him with all they have, despite knowing that he was dead. As Konan stepped forward, seeing the happy smile on his face, she placed a hand on his shoulder. He turned around as he looked at her. As he claimed their lips, the past week, the both of them had gotten real close. It was Konan who had clung to him for support, despite him being the injured one amongst them. And Naruto stood by her, sharing her guilt instead of making her forget it. Held her in his strong arms in the cold nights, sharing his painful life stories, making the both of them become even more closer. Konan had nursed his wounds with Tsunade's help, bumped him on the head when he tried to be stubborn, even tried to cook a meal for him, which was terrible. As she remembers smiling as he praised her for making the food, when it was really awful to eat. They were not different in most ways, but different in some others. But yet she loved him. And it had only taken his near death to make her realize that she would never let him go again. Yes, she loved him too much. As they were interrupted by a knock at the door, "I wish I could stay here," he said. "And make our friends be out there by themselves? You lazy ass," she said. "You know, you're quite bitchy in the morning. Is it that time of the month?" he asked. She bumped him on the head, but he simply laughed. "You horny kids, get out here already," yelled a furious Tsunade. As Naruto eyebrow twitched. "Can I kill her?" he said. "No," said Konan. "I wish we could stay in bed all day," Naruto said. "Oh, do you?" she said, whispering at his ear, which just turned him on even more. He has been in a lot of girls, but there was just something different about her, which he just couldn't explain. It was just wonderful being with her. "Get out of bed already," she said, as Naruto slumped down, as she kicked him off the bed. "Hey," he said, "what's wrong with you?" "I really believe that it's that time of the month." She picked up a nearby water jug as she thrust it at him. As Naruto ran off, as Tsunade opened the door at the same time, as he smashed right into her chest. It took a few seconds to realize where he was, before he got a nosebleed. "Naruto," she screamed out his name. A moment later, Naruto nursed the bumps on his head from Konan and Tsunade. If he didn't know better, they were trying to kill him or something after saving his life. As Naruto looked at these two women, he remembered what his father said to him. "Hold everything precious to you and never let them go. Despite everything, family is true. Protect your mother. Accept your brother. Obito is a good boy. And look after him along with Mikoto and Kushina. And don't forget to sire many little Namikaze and Uzumaki in the future. Please, Minato." "I am not a Namikaze or Uzumaki," Naruto said, remembering his bastard status. "You are a Namikaze and a Uzumaki as well. You might not have my name, but you are my blood. Be happy and remember that I will love you forever." He sat there as he stared at the two women in front of him, remembering what his father whispered to him. As, in his final moments, he truly felt what it meant to be his father's son. Tsunade Senju, Naruto said, "Yes, Lord Fort. You have served me well and saved my life. You are an honorable woman through and through, and you also my family by blood. As grateful as I am. After that treachery, I will burn Konoha to the ground," he said. "I understand," she said. "However, Konan has shown me a different option. A mission that involved rescuing my mother," he said. "Yes, I have a few people in the village," said Tsunade, "who oppose Danzo and are ready to rescue and save Kushina." "Who are those people?" Naruto asked. She stuttered, knowing that if those people fail, he would just kill them. "Answer me now or forget any mercy from me. I would reduce that land to ashes," he said. "Make no mistake." Tsunade shivered on hearing the voice that he spoke in, as she saw him slaughter Kiri ninjas. He killed Sakumo. She knew how terrible and powerful this boy was. "It is your brother," said Tsunade. As Naruto wondered why would Obito... No, he couldn't wonder that, as he remembered seeing the memories of both him and Kushina. As much as it angered him to see such a thing, he remembered that the boy see her as a mother as well. "Really?" he said. "Yes, it is Obito who will lead the resistance, with the help of Dan, Shisui, Uchiha, Itachi Uchiha, 2 Senju guards of mine, and Rin. Those are quite a few Uchihas, said Konan, earned a nod from Tsunade. Not everyone from that clan is mad, like Fukaku and his lapdogs who kiss Danzo's ass. Shisui is Kagamai's son and heir to the clan, but he was overthrown by Fukaku. He doesn't like the course his clan is taking under Fukaku. He's young but sensible, far beyond his age, so is his friend Itachi. As for Dan, he is someone I trust, and my Senju guards are loyal to me. Obito and Ren are your father's students and care for Kushina. They will save her, said Tsunade. I killed Shisui's father, said Naruto. Yes, but Shisui said that it was a war that killed his father, and you are just the instrument. He wants an end to this madness and for peace to return, said Tsunade, making Naruto smile. Who would have thought that a Senju would be arguing on behalf of Uchiha, said Naruto. I just want to see it all over. Very well, Naruto said. What do they expect from me in return? Life for them and their families, their property and wealth remain theirs, and for you to accept me as a new Fire Lord. You ask for a lot, said Naruto. And we risk our life, along with our families, to save your mother and offer peace. I say that is fair. Naruto simply chuckled, making Tsunade frown. I will decide what is fair after what your village did to me. You and your supporters are offering me this because you know Konoha is facing devastation. Nagato has already united my dream. Yaiko and Daibatsu has conquered Kumo. Soon enough we shall crush the hidden stone. That leaves you weirder to ask. Tsunade flinched. When his friends achieve those victories, most of her bargaining chips will be lost completely. Then what do you propose, she asked as she clenched her fist. Save my mother along with your rebels, and I'll spare their life along with their families. I'll even leave their properties and wealth to their name. But Obito and mother will come with me. I promised father I would look after them, said Naruto. And the Fire Nation, she asked. Half of it shall be under my rule. As for the rest, the Senju family shall rule as noble leaders, acting as my vessels under one condition. Konan knew what he was going to ask because she was the one who helped him came up with it, as she was preparing for a violent response. What is it, said Tsunade, as she was on the edge of fury. You shall marry a trusted comrade of mine, and your son and daughter shall be united with the Uzumaki family. Tsunade anger flared as Konan got up, as Naruto's massive killing intent stopped the both of them. Raise a finger and I shall cut your throat right here, Naruto said, murderously. Try it, boy, said Tsunade. Because I will never accept your demands. I serve you faithfully, and this is how you reward me, she asked, in a furious tone. You serve me because you seek benefit for yourself and your people mostly. You are a good woman, but if you want to be a leader, act like one. The new world is going to be a different place where your nation will no longer hold the power it currently has. Save my mother and I will let you and the others live in peace. But if you don't want to marry my comrade, then forget ruling half of your nation because I will burn it to the ground, along with all of your people. Tsunade froze. She looked into those cold eyes, seeing that he wouldn't mean it, but he didn't even flinch or stutter one bit. And then Konan spoke. Naruto is an honorable man and doesn't want a massacre for an entire nation. It will not be good for the world and set a dangerous example for future generations. He wants peace and stability. It can only be achieved if your future relatives share blood tied with him. And if you refuse now, I will personally lead an army and slaughter your people, Tsunade Senju, said Konan, without even blinking. Tsunade was stunned. Were these the same young couple who had acted in the morning so innocently, but now? It was then that she saw ghosts looking at her dangerously. It was similar. They were all wolves. And no matter what, they weren't going to show mercy again because the last time, he almost died. So what shall it be, Tsunade Senju, Naruto asked. Time skip. Naruto watched Tsunade sail away on the bird that would take her to her nation. He had taken great risks by entrusting her with his mother's life. He wanted to save Kushina on his own, but Konan was against that, seeing that he had no army for now. Almost his entire army was with Nagato, and the rest was with Yaiko, holding Kumo right now. If you run off to Konoha right now, you will die, said Konan. I can defeat them, he said. Konan tried her best not to get angry, because despite everything she knew that he always wanted to fight to protect the ones he loved. He had followed her advice by taking a hard stance with Tsunade, but there was still much more to be done. He turned towards her. I want to save her, but I'm new to this strange world. Being Uzumaki was challenging enough. Give me an army and I can do great things. But my political decisions, apart from giving Nagato my ear, is a complete disaster, he said. Will you follow me, she asked. He stared at her. Conan had always been the more rational amongst the two, as she had the better advice when it comes to politics. Yes, he said. I just want you to hear what I have to say. As she then spoke a couple of words that made her eyes went wide. You can't be serious, he said. You must do this if you want a peaceful future for all of us. And you know it's the right decision. But the others, he said, they are already on board with this plan. Lord Arima has already marched the Akatsuki force and 500 of his clansmen. Yaiko and Debatu are overjoyed to hear that you are alive and have already made the propositions. For the union to really work, you must do this, said Conan. How long have you been planning this? Without even telling me, he asked as he glanced at her. Since I arrived here, she said. I have already sent a message to our comrades. Nagato should receive the good message in a few days if the weather is good. I'm sorry, I wanted to tag you in, but you were not in a good condition and time was of the essence. He massaged his forehead. This was a lot. But despite everything, her heart was in the right place. We must trust each other, Conan. You cannot take such big decisions without informing me. She looked down. I'm sorry, she said. As he was looking at the sea, not saying anything. Sometimes silence can hurt more than words. So she built up her courage. I did it because I love you, she said. He quickly turned towards her, with a shocked look on his face. Conan, I am not a gentlewoman, Naruto Uzumaki, she said, cutting him off. When we first meet, I didn't like you, but you have a way of making people love you as time go by. Surely but slowly, I have learned about you, what you fought for, what you cared about. And it made me love you even more. When you fought in one Uzu, I saw. The people mistreated you there, but you still cared about them despite everything. You fight with all of your will, and you never broke down despite everything that you went through. When I heard that you had died, her voice cracked as she remembered that. It was like someone ripped my heart out right there and then. It was not until I lost you, it was then I realized what you truly meant to me. How I got attached to a man like you, she said, in the first place, despite how arrogant you was at the first. But it didn't change my feelings. I did love you. I know it's a short time and I do not expect you to love me back. But I will never, no matter what, let you fall again. She turned towards him as she saw that he was mentally struggling with something else. I love you, Conan. I do, he said. As she felt her heart lit up. But the next word he said, but I also love another, he said to her. Conan stood there, as she didn't say anything. She has always seen the attraction between him and her, but she thought it was one-sided. She never thought that Akeno Uzumaki had reached Naruto's heart. There was a bittersweet smile on his lips, to show that he just arrived at his conclusion. As Naruto stood there looking out into the sea, to choose the one that he grew up with, the one that comforted him and loved him the best, or to fall for the one that he gained strength and hope from, and spend the rest of his life with her. As Naruto never felt so conflicted in his life before, Conan had the strength that he needed to get back to his feet. She was there and helped him up, because if it wasn't for her and Tsunade and Arima, he would have not get back up for the two of them. But Conan, she just shaked him. But while lying on the bed, his heart drifted towards Akeno so much. He missed her. Thinking about his mother, that she was taken, he knew that Akeno would be there, and he would just stay there and she would hold him tight. And his heart just beat for her. Akeno was soft and kind. If he had asked her to run away with him and leave all his bandits behind, she wouldn't even blink twice, she would just go. But Conan would refuse and stay and do all her duty for the people in the future. She was a great leader, better than him. I really am a bastard, he whispered, as he felt distraught, feeling for two different women that were so close to him, and he didn't want to hurt either of them. He expected Conan to curse at him or slap him or something, but she looked up with a bitter smile. We can't choose who we love, she said. I was born in tragedy, he said. My entire life wasn't much different, until a few friends I gained, but I thought it would end the same way in tragedy. All I had hoped for is to leave something good behind. Naruto, she said, as he smiled a little. It's not too bad, I guess. I killed so many people. Friends, enemies, comrades, even my own followers. I started this bloody war for justice, but in truth all I was after was revenge. Do you know what I was thinking as I got stabbed by Orochimaru's sword? She shook her head, but she stepped close and held his arm. I didn't mind dying, he said, because I have caused great pain and suffering. I am no hero. I am no undefeatable god of war. I am just a soldier that is good at killing other soldiers. The only regret I had was that I couldn't give you all, my friends, a stable future. If I can achieve that and give you all happiness, all of it would have worth something. All of it would have been for something. At least you all would have been happy. Conan held on to his hands as tears streamed down her eyes, hearing his true feelings about everything. This was more important than hearing that he was in love with another woman as well. I never realized that this was causing you so much pain, that we unwillingly placed such a burden on your shoulders. I'm sorry, she said. It had to happen, I can see that now. Family, duty, honor. Those are my people words and I can see them clearly. Right now. Doing what is best for everyone is my goal now. To be a guardian, he said. Family, honor, duty. Those shall be the principle. I live my life for now. She looked at him. Was he really saying what she thought he was saying? But the pain, she said, hesitating. As Naruto merely smiled at her. It is better to hurt myself than the ones I love. As she saw his eyes went cold. As he set aside everything, just to ensure that all of them would live on and have a good future. He was going to risk it all to protect all of them no matter what. Time skip. 2 days later at Kumo. As Yaiko had a small smile on his face. Hear that Naruto was alive despite everything that happened. As Daibatsu was beside him. As they saw someone stepping up to them. As they saw his red hair. He just came back from burying his son Shin, who had died in the war of taking over the capital. One of the Lightning Daimyo's son murdered Shin when he tried to storm the gates of the capital. On the brink of death, Shin activated a seal that blew himself up along with the Daimyo forces and the son that stabbed him. I'm sorry for your loss, Lord Arima, said Yaiko sadly. Shin did his duty just like his ancestors. He died with honor, said Arima. Will this change something, Lord Arima? We have defeated the Land of Lightning and put down most of the rebel factions. But once we leave with the Akatsuki, chaos could start again, said Yaiko. You're worried about the future, said Arima. So am I, said Daibatsu. We got word yesterday that Nagato has formed a union of smaller nations and the Sun as well. Finally, there's a growing faction that can bring stability to our chaotic world. But even if the western lands become stable, the Land of Lightning, Land of Fire, Land of Water are threatening powers. It will be taken care of, said the elder Uzumaki. Yaiko would have questioned the man on that, but then they saw paper birds coming from the sky. As they saw the one at the front, they noticed a person standing on it. The Akatsuki members roar as they saw his red hair flapping in the wind. Wearing his Uzumaki cloak with ghosts by his side, Naruto Uzumaki stood tall as Yaiko and Daibatsu rushed over as they hugged their friend as he hugged them back. As Conan was being congratulated by the ladies who congratulated her. They did not forget what the Kumo people did to their people and their home, and hearing that she took them down, she got a lot of respect and praises, knowing that Arima had sacrificed his son. Despite his mistake, he owed him more than he could repay. He also felt a connection with this man, like Katsuru, the third Uzukage. Most of all, he was Akaino's father. He was so enraged when Arima expressed this truth to him while he was injured, but it only confirmed his suspicions in his mind. But Naruto understood now while he felt a connection with him. He was in love with the man's daughter after all. Lord Fort, the Land of Lightning is yours, said Arima. You have served me loyalty. Your son gave his life for our cause. I will never forget that, said Naruto. Arima nodded because he was proud of his boy. His son died with pride and honor for their family. Arima bent to one knee. Then I have a request for you, he said. Name it, said Naruto. I have another daughter you know personally. She is the only remaining child, and I want to bring her home. I want her to inherit my name. I want her to be the heir to my family and accept my land and my wealth, he requested. Many mumbling went off through the other nobles. This was a taboo after all. But Arima didn't care about them. He just looked at Naruto. I'll give you a better gift, Naruto said. Not only do I accept Akaino Uzumaki as your daughter and your legal heir, but I hereby abolish the custom of bastard. He said it loudly so everyone could hear. Before any protest could be seen amongst the nobles, Naruto released a powerful killing intent that made them shut their mouth as Wolf growled deadly beside him. If we are to move forward and create a better world, then we must change ourselves in time. I abolish the custom and bastard for once and for all. Who are you to forbid children their rights without them being any fault of it? If you truly do not want illegitimate children in our society, then keep it in your bloody pants and skirts. No matter who child shall be, all of them shall be legal. Children and women and man, all of them shall be responsible for their well-being. Break this law or go against it and I would behead you, no matter who you are, said Naruto. Konan, Yaiko and Debatsu was stunned. They had been pesting Naruto to change this stupid law for a long time now. But now he finally did it. As Arima was surprised when he saw the nobles accepting that quickly. As Naruto looked around, there was a lot of Kumo civilians there. Children, women, man. As there was a lot of uncertainty in their eyes, wondering what he will do to them. Konan suggested for a stable future this was the only way, and he accepted her recommendation. There was a reason why he summoned Arima, and most of the Uzumaki forces here. From this moment, he said, the land of lightning, fields of Yugakuru, and Uzu are no more. They all shall be united under the great Northern Kingdom, and the North will join the Great Union. Everyone gasped as they were shocked to hear the new declaration. No longer were there different nations fighting against each other. No longer there were greedy daimyos that had control of thousands of ninjas under them. No longer were the people of North to curse against the others because they were all joined together now. As Arima pulled his blade, the king in the North, he said, raising it high, 1,000 more swords were unleashed as they all chanted the king in the North. Time skip. Naruto was in his new solar plex. It was once occupied by the lightning daimyo. There was also the Kumo, forces leader, who would surrender and accept his rule. He did not trust them yet, but despite that he needed people for war. The king in the North never as a title exists like that before, as it need to be happen because despite everything he was a tactical, brilliant strategist when it came to war, and he was ready as there was a map in front of him. Nagato was doing a wonderful job at creating the Union. To think that he made the Kazekage kneel. Naruto felt great pride in his friend. Together he was confident he could change his world. What is our plan, my king? Arima asked. Now that the North is secured, we can focus our attention on the real war. The Union is the future of this world and the North shall fight for it with all our strength, Naruto said. Everyone nodded. Well, they have to agree because Naruto wouldn't allow it for them to go against it. It was happening one way or another. Nagato has united most of the West, but the Hidden Stone is a great power that threatened to overwhelm him from the rear. Salamander, Hanzo, and the Kazekage are doing their best to stop such a thing, but they need help. I promise in the rain that in time of need they shall get help, and I shall keep my promise. Debatsu. Debatsu stepped forward as he straightened up. If I combine the Akatsuki and the Northern Warriors, I have 15,000 fighters. You shall take command of 5,000 troops. I'll lead them here to cut off Tishikage from his supply line. Raid his towns, burn them, harass them. Darui here shall be your second. As he pointed a location on the map. I will stop them, Debatsu said. You spared the life of my soldiers and my people. I shall prove that your faith in us was not wrong, my king, said Darui. Darui had seen what Naruto and Uzumaki and his friends everyone was doing across the world, as he had accepted that oath. Kumo was no more, seen at the Raikage. The daimyos and all of them were gone. It was just best to fall in line, as this will create a better future. Good, said Naruto. Fail me and I promise the consequences won't be to your liking. I won't, my king, he said. He then turned towards Arima. Lord Arima shall take temporary control of the northern land and use the rest of the Akatsuki force to keep you safe. Your primary responsibility is to settle the people who have lost their homes. But more importantly, I want you to send supplies to Nagato, man, food, weapons, anything that we can spare. It will be done, my king. But what shall be our response if Konoha tried to invade the north, said Arima. A wicked smirk came on Naruto's face that made them all feel shiver under their spine. As Konan understood what he was doing, Naruto had killed all of his emotions and desires to focus on winning this war. He was not going to hesitate, no more negotiating. He was going to strike and wipe them all out. They have enough problem with Nagato and his army breathing out their neck. But if they try such a foolish action, repel them but do not enter their lands. The north is to remain secured under all circumstances, he said. Understood, Arima said. What shall you do? Asked Yaiko. Seeing that Naruto was making Arima rule in his stand for now, Naruto pointed towards the map. Yaiko. In 2 days organize 4,000 strong force that will sail with me towards the land of water. But there's a civil war going on there, said Konan. And it's time I put an end towards it. The land of water will join the union. And it's time I make the Mizukage pay for what he did to my people. More importantly, I have a friend there that has been by my side through hell and back. I have not heard from him in a while, and I will help him, said Naruto. Kisame, thought Yaiko. Sir, after taking the land of water, what if the new Mizukage that you installed to power refused to cooperate with the union? Asks Akumo commander. As an icy look came in her eyes. Then, I'll kill them all, he said. As Erima could see, the boy back then had died, and a king was born. Time skip. It is happening tomorrow. The small group was startled at the declaration as they stood in the middle of the forest. All they could see was his red eyes. Snag looked at the second son of Minato and they could see something in him has changed. Just in the same that has happened with Naruto, these two boys were their father's son in many ways. Have they found a replacement? Asked Itachi. It must be, because Danzo would not do this otherwise. He lusts for power more than anyone. I know, said Shisui. What is our plan? Asked Dan. Mikoto still couldn't believe that all of these people were looking at her son, Obito, for direction. Obito had changed, and it wasn't just because of his newly awakened Mangekyou. While his elder brother was leading a rebellion against the entire world, Obito was leading a rebellion to save the nation. We will divide our numbers into two teams. The first one shall be made up of Tsunade-sama, her Senju warriors, Ren, and my mother. Your task will be to save Kushina at all costs and get her to the location that Naruto has directed, Obito said, feeling strange to call out his brother's name. It won't be easy. Danzo will be taking all precaution just to make sure the transfer of the Bichu goes smoothly. We will need a distraction, said one of the Senju guards. A big one, said the other Senju. You shall have one, said Obito, glanced at Itachi and Shisui, who nodded. Obe, said Mikoto, fear in her eyes. But he gave her a reassuring smile, full of confidence. Everything is set, mother. As soon as the distraction is created, I shall join you in the other Shima Pass. From there, we shall go to my brother, he said. But trust me, mother. I have to do this. For father, he said. It was Dan who gave the mother a reassuring smile as he placed a hand on Obito's shoulder. I will look after the boys, I promise. Dan, said Tsunade. Niwaki would have wanted this, said Dan. She cursed the fool for bringing up her own damn weakness, but that didn't make the words less true. She kissed him fiercely, not caring if the others saw, as Mikoto hugged her son, as she hugged Itachi and Shisui as well. Tsunade did not tell Dan about Naruto conditions, but she will choose Dan over power anytime. It will betray her duty to her nation, but she loved Dan more than anything, and she's not going to apologize for that. As Obito instructed them that Kushina was still in Central Prison, and tonight was the best night to rescue her. As they all parted, as he turned towards his own team, Shisui was the same age as him, Itachi 2 years younger, but they were stronger than most of the Jonins in the village. Their Sharingans made them even more dangerous, and Dan was a master in infiltration. His skills would help them do what they have planned. There is no going back after this, boys. If we fail, our deaths won't be painless, said Dan. We know, said Shisui, as Itachi simply nodded. Dan looked over at Obito. He never thought he would see the Monkey-to Sharingan be born again. He knew what havoc Madara wreaked with those eyes, but only this time Uchiha was fighting for the good of their nation, and not against it. We're ready, said Obito. Moments later, you're not going to change your mind, are you? Said a voice. It's necessary. Kushina is medically unfit to run right now. Tsunade can use your help. They say my brother is a good man, despite everything. He will look after you, said Obito. He killed Kakashi, Ren whispered, making Obito a heart ache for his best friend. I know our village killed my brother's people. This has to stop, Ren. This madness has already consumed most of our friends. We cannot fight against the entire world, said Obito. You always have such a good heart, said Ren. He fought back his tears as she leaned over and kissed him right on the lips. As he looked at her, he had loved her from the moment he met her. He wished he could tell her everything that he felt for her, but not today, not now. She breathed the kiss. Be careful, she said. As he scoffed, I'm always careful, he joked. Tears fell from her eyes. She hugged him fiercely. As he hugged her back, was this how father had felt? To see and make sure all of his people survive and live, he thought. As he brought the hug, go. They'll be waiting for you. She nodded as she headed off. As she went to join Tsunade's team, he felt relief knowing that she would be safe. Tsunade said that Naruto would show mercy to the group and every person who surrenders. He wanted to become Hokage of this village. And if him doing something great can stop a lot of meaningless deaths, he would gladly do anything. If the Land of Fire surrender and accept whatever terms they had, his people would be spared, because he knew after what Naruto went through he would not accept any treaties. They will just have to surrender. Father, I'll be the Hokage you always wanted to be, said Obito as he looked down, before flashing off to complete his goal. But guys, if you end up so right here, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto is Raised by the Hyuga Clan and enjoy that, guys. And also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was pushed to his limits and enjoy it as well, guys. But I'm out for now. Peace.